Welcome to the very first Looking Through Doorways podcast. I'm Rob, and along with my son Josh, who's behind the camera at the moment, but will be in front of the camera shortly, we're going to take you through a little bit of life as a really tall person. So we get asked when we were talking, and the sort of the reason that we wanted to sort of do something like this. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone. It's not the sort of thing I've ever done before or ever thought I'd do. And for people that know me, they're probably thinking, bloody hell, Rob's got a YouTube channel. But here we go. I thought it might be interesting because something I get asked or something people say to me all the time is, I wish I was as tall as you. And I always think, do you really? Honestly? You wish you were as tall as me? Okay, let's find out what it's really like. So we're going to put this series together. It's a little bit of having a look at what it's like being a tall person, going to different places, trying to buy clothes, trying to fit in a car, trying to go to different events. But for this first one, I think we're going to have a look at how tall are we, first of all, because there's a lot of that kind of fake stuff going around on social media at the moment, which is a little bit weird to me, where people are trying to look a little bit taller than they are or try and make out they're a little bit taller than they are. So for myself and Josh, we'll have a bit of a measure. How tall are we? And then we'll have a bit of a look at some of the things that people say. So we started off we thought we'll come up with a top 5 list of things that people, comments that people make to us just on a day-to-day basis about our height. That quickly became a top 10 list. And that quickly then became about, it's that sort of magic number, about a top 13 or 14 list. So we'll have a look at some of those things, and we'll have a look and hopefully give some advice to other tall people about how you can make your life as a tall person a little bit easier. But thanks for watching. I hope this goes well. I always say that being tall is like being famous without the money. Let's see if through this YouTube channel we can add the money to it as well, eh? But thank you very much. Here we go, episode 1. So through the magic of editing from the first intro, I'm now wearing different clothes because apparently, according to SJ, you can't film if you dress like a tramp. So I don't know. I think the intro bit is just that's what I wear. So sorry, love. Anyway, we said one of the things we're going to talk about is things that people say to you, not necessarily that annoy you, but things that people say to you all
just
the
like
time.
the typical stuff.
When as someone who's tall, or for Josh, like kind of tallish, he's only 6'7", only a little lad. So we compiled a bit of a list. So what did we go for at the top?
Some of them are a bit more like typical, not necessarily that annoying, and then some of them are just stupid. So it's like, why would you ask somebody that? Because I just think some of the questions you get are just ridiculous.
Give us the number one most annoying
First of
first.
all, I'll go with the classical, the one we've got at the top of the list, because it's just bang on. If you asked anybody to give you on what they think is said to you as a tall person, this would be on it. It's like the Michael Jordan of tall people quotes is, "What's the weather like up there?"
What's the weather like up there?
Because the weather changes. If you're a little bit taller than somebody else, you must have a different climate.
I always wonder how you're supposed to. What's a sensible answer for that one? What's the weather like? If I'm feeling in a good mood when people ask this, I always go with, I'll let you know if it starts raining because I'll find out a couple of seconds before you do.
I've not really got a bantery answer for that, because sometimes you give like the fake laugh and then a bit of a bantery
nice
answer.
One. Yeah,
I've not really got one for that one.
No, it's a tough one, that one, because I've been told that spitting on people and telling them it's raining is rude, so we've probably got to stay away from that. But what I love about a lot of these comments is you see it building up in people. They clock you as a tall person, and it's like it sets off a little switch in their mind. They're like, "Oh, I've got to tell you, he'll never have heard this before. I've got to go up to him and ask him what the weather's like."
With this one specifically, with a few of them as well, they're like this. But with this one specifically, you'll get people go, "I bet you don't hear this often," or like sarcastically, or "I bet you get this all the time," and then they'll ask you, and it's like, well, yeah.
You must get sick of people asking you that. I'm going to ask it you anyway.
But,
cheers.
Yeah, it's always but, and then the exact question that people say every time. The second one, and my personal least favourite on the list, my personal most annoying. This is the ones where I was on about. Some of them are typical but fine. But what's the weather like up there? It's not that bad. This one just boils my blood. Is how did you get that tall?
It,
That is your
yeah,
worst
I think
by a mile.
sometimes the best way to combat it is sarcasm.
Yeah,
It's like, absolutely no idea. I was 5'7" when I woke up this morning. I'm as confused as you are.
yeah. That one tends to be a little bit more children that ask that one, so
Yeah,
it's a little less annoying. But if adults ask one, how did you get that tall? It's like everyone grows to that. How did you get
yeah.
that? If you're 5'8", how did you get that tall? I just did exactly the same as you, but I ended up this tall. It's like, what a stupid question. That is personally my least favourite.
That is
I'm
that
not
is
going to
annoying.
get too ranty with it, but that's the worst. That is the
Go
worst
off on one.
Yeah, that is definitely the worst. This was a you one. I think this is more of like a middle-aged sort of English banter sort of one, because I don't hear this one very much. I've only ever heard it when I'm with you. Is you'll be a big lad when you grow up. People
Ah,
trying to be a bit jokey and bantery with you when you're like trying to get on with your normal day about it. Can be that can
yeah.
be a real cringe one. That can.
You'll be a big lad when you grow up. And
Yeah.
then when I give them the kind of the gone out sort of zombie look, they kind of look offended that they've just told me the funniest joke in the
Ever.
history of
Yeah.
jokes, and
Yeah.
they're the next Jimmy Carr with this phenomenal comeback that they've asked me,
Yeah.
and they're disappointed that despite the fact that I've been this height for pretty much 30 years, I'm not hearing that joke for the first time. In fact, it might be the 10,000th time and probably the 20th time I've heard
Yeah.
it that day. But that is an annoying one.
The fourth one, we've got a big contender here. But I claim the second was the most annoying, but we've got a contender here. Is I thought I was tall. That one's funnier more than just
It, it's always funny
annoying.
when you get some guy come up to you that's about 5'10",
God, I thought I
and they
was
go,
tall,
"God, I thought I was tall, mate."
but you're not.
And I always look at them and go, "Really? You did?"
Yeah, you're like the same height as everybody else that's walking
Yeah,
around. How can you have thought it? By the way, with stuff like this, I think a lot of the channel is going to be based around like almost like educating people what it's like to live as like a day in the life of like a really tall person. But hopefully this also, because it'll also be on TikTok as well as YouTube, I hope it reaches an audience of like other tall people, so that
yeah.
this list of 12, 13, whatever it is, I hope the other tall people that are hopefully around our heights will see this and think it's like relatable and funny from that aspect, because you'll almost be able to predict all of them that are going to happen, and you'll probably be able to have a list of your own that most of these will be on. So we don't think we're the only tall people in the world, but
If
the
you
other
are
tall people will be able to relate, definitely.
if you are a tall guy or a tall girl for that matter, and we don't say one that really sort of gets under your skin, let us know. And the other thing I'll
Yeah,
say at this point as well, before we move on to the next one, is I don't want people to think that I'm moaning or like
yeah,
that I don't like being tall. Always said I'm very fortunate. Absolutely love being as tall as I am, and I genuinely wouldn't change it for the world. It's just
yeah,
it's a bit of fun. Some of the silly sort of funny
yeah.
things that people say to us, but it's not a
They're,
moan at all.
they're all funny.
It's part of the life.
Yeah, afterwards they're all a bit of fun. And my favourite time to hear them is when you're with people that you've not long met. So if you're like with people that you might have literally just met that day, or you've known for like a couple of months, and you're out with them in public maybe for the first time, and someone will come up to you and say something, it's it's almost like people can't believe that that really happens.
Yeah,
It's a bit of like, oh my god, people actually come up to you and say some of this stuff. Like that's insane,
yeah.
which I fully get. That's how I
It's
feel as well.
it's funny being out in public with a new person for the first time because I don't. People make comments
Mm.
and people stare at me for how tall I am. Probably how good looking I am as well, to be fair. But people stare at me all the time because of how tall I am, and I never notice. But other people will say to me, "God, do you see that person staring at you?" Well,
Not really, no.
were they?
Yeah, to be
Fair,
fair,
fair enough.
because I'm like when I'm in public anyway, I'm like super observant, so I do notice. I don't notice people staring at me, but if I'm in public with you, I like to look out for people staring at you for some reason. But it's like I just, yeah, I just, it's so more obvious than people think, which is quite funny.
Anyway, back from that tangent, hit us with the next one.
Another one of yours. Do you know what? This might be a contender for annoying ones as well. Is if I was your height, I'd.
Yeah, if I was your height, I'd do this, that, and the other. If I was your height, I'd be the hardest man in the world.
Yeah. Most of
No,
the
you
things
wouldn't.
that people finish that sentence with, height doesn't make any difference
Yeah.
to at all. It's just an excuse.
And as much as I don't like to use bad language and don't particularly promote the use of bad language, whenever someone says that to me, I always think, so what you're telling me is you'd still be an arsehole. You'd just be a slightly bigger arsehole than you
Yeah,
are currently.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what I get
Or it's
from
like
that one.
the thing that end the sentence, it'll be like something they just happen not to be good enough at. And
Yeah.
by being an extra, maybe half a foot tall, they suddenly think they'll be really good at it, especially when it's basketball related
Yeah.
for me and you. If you were suddenly in my body, you wouldn't be able to do anything
No.
like basketball. The same way, just because I'm around the same height as Tyson Fury, I'm not a world
Yeah.
champion heavyweight boxer all of a sudden. That's not how life works. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, I
another
see.
silly one.
You could give me Tiger Woods' coach and golf clubs. I'd still be shit at golf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your height doesn't make any difference to that whatsoever. Another good one with a little gap to finish off whatever it is. This is usually nephew, like we were saying yesterday. Is my is tall.
Yeah. Or they'll say the other one that goes along with that is they'll say, "How tall are you?" And you sort of autopilot clicks in.
Yeah. By the way, that's probably the one that we've not got on the list because we've just done loads of ones that people say. That's my most tolerable one. If people just come up and say, "How tall are you?" That's the one I fully get because I would ask as well. So
It's when they
that's the
say
ones
to
we
you, they
like.
go, "How tall are you?" So you go, "Okay, yeah, I'm 6'11". Ah, my insert relative here is 6'4", but he's not as tall as you.
Yeah.
You go, well,
That's
yeah,
yeah. That's
we've just
yeah.
established that basic
The same
mathematics
way
would
I'm
tell me.
21 and I'm not as old as you.
Yeah.
So it's like that's
Oh,
that
oh,
that would sound ridiculous if you said that to anybody in public. They'd just look at you like you were a weirdo.
yeah,
But this is for quite a lot of stuff as well, like comments people make, questions people ask, stuff like that. When it comes to height, apparently that's not an insanely weird thing to do. Where
yeah,
if you went and asked it about anything else, like the age thing I just said, everybody would just look at you like you're a massive weirdo.
yeah.
Like if I walked up to, say, I went to a shop to buy something, and I asked the person that I was paying to, I said, "How old are you?" And they said they're 36. And I went, "Oh, I'm 21, but I'm not as old as you." They just look at you like you're an absolute
Duh.
weirdo. So it's like, what difference does it make? It's like
Yeah,
that one's really really silly.
it is always funny. I always struggle with a way to answer that other than just looking at them going, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Another one that sometimes you need a scientist to answer because people just don't understand when the answer's no. For me, it's yes, but sometimes can be a no. Is, are your parents tall? With this one, if you're watching on TikTok, if you're tall, leave in the comments how tall your parents are. 'Cause that does interest me actually.
yeah. So I mean, for you, it's probably slightly different because your parent or one of your
Yeah,
parents is quite tall.
really tall.
Your mum, we'll come on to that because people ask about her all the time as well.
Yeah, that's a
But
different
for me,
question.
I'm 6'11".
Hmm.
My parents, my dad he claims to be 5'11" and 3/4. Dad,
Wait.
if you're watching this, I'm not having it. And my mum is probably about 5'10". She's
Yeah.
getting a little bit of sort of old lady shrinkage now, but she's probably about 5'10". So when I tell people that, oh, where does your height come from? And depending on your age, usually someone, again, some hilarious stand-up comedy wannabe will be like I bet the milkman was a big bloke, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
Or
brilliant.
the best one, again, shout out to my dad for this one. I remember a while ago, quite a while ago now, it might have even been before you were born. I was in a pub with my dad,
Mm.
and a young lady came up to me, and she asked that question. She went, "Are your parents tall?" And I sort of said, "Well, this is my dad, sort of all the way down here." And she said, "Well, how did you get so tall then?" And I was just about to give the stock answer when my dad piped up out of nowhere and went, "Stand back, love, I'm powerful stuff." Oh, no. Just looked at her, I'm so sorry.
Awkward enough already. Yeah.
Fortunately, that killed that conversation. She walked off and it
Yeah.
was all good. But yeah,
That is a weird one. This, I think, if we had to vote, like I said, ones that are stupid. I think this is the dumbest, not the most annoying, but the dumbest, and I think you'd agree. Is, do you like being that tall?
do you like
Do
being
you
that
like
tall?
being that tall? Do you have a choice?
The answer to that is yes, I do.
Yeah.
And we'll look as we go into sort of this channel and these things being made. We'll have a look at why I like being tall. I do. I love. I'm very lucky. I think I've had a very blessed, very fortunate life. I've got to experience some fantastic things based primarily off the fact that I'm tall. Having said that, the reason why I think it's a bit of a daft question is because what choice do you have?
Yeah, I don't remember ever picking.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
get to choose. It's that you get what you're given, and you can be really happy about that, or really upset and not like it at all. It's still you're still that height,
Doesn't
whether
change
you like
anything,
it or
does
not.
it?
It's not as if I did anything special, did some sort of special exercise, or did some special diet
Mm.
to end up being this height. It's what it is. But yeah, I do love it.
Yeah, I do. To be fair, I always think with that one, it's a hard one to answer because I don't really care about being this. I'm just am this
Don't
way.
notice.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I just don't really care. I don't really have an opinion on it at all. So I always
Yeah,
like even to give like a jokey, sarcastic answer, which is what I try and do with all of them, just to be friendly. Um, that one I always struggle with because I literally couldn't care less. So I'm always like, yeah, I don't really, not really
I
ask.
always say to people, you have to remember that I'm this height all the time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not as much of a surprise to me as it is to you.
Yeah, it's like with the people when, like we were just saying, when you're out with people for the first time and they're noticing that like you're getting stared at or the comments or whatever. I never really had because there was a certain age where it's like, all right, like you've gone from being tall for like an 8-year-old to being like actually tall in society.
Yeah,
Um, and people start to like stare at you and stuff and make comments. I never really noticed the staring thing because I grew up with you as a dad,
yeah,
which I know is a little bit different for you, like we just said. So I was like, well, people have always just looked at us at our vicinity, but not because of me, because of you. And now it's just because of me as well. So it's not really made much difference to me. The comments is a little bit different because people would never make comments to me until I was about 13, like 14, I should say. But that must have been a bigger one for you when you
yeah,
got to that
yeah.
height
Having
because you didn't
parents that
grow up with
aren't
it. Yeah,
like freakishly tall like I am, yeah,
yeah,
I can understand why people would ask that.
yeah. Bit more of a long-winded one. I think this one's quite funny. It says when people ask how tall you are, you tell them the answer, and then they say, "No, you're not."
I love that.
Could
Well,
be the dumbest, could also be the funniest for that category. But
it's
I love
it's
that one.
great.
That one's
Yeah, I love
hilarious.
that. How tall are you? 6'11". No, you're not.
Nah, you're not. You're not.
Oh,
You're not, are you?
all right, all right. I'm not. Well, how tall am I then?
What was the point of asking?
Yeah, if you weren't going to believe,
Well, I did,
if
yeah.
you weren't going to
Yeah,
believe the answer, what was what was
yeah.
the point of asking? Now, that's always quite. No, you're not.
And I know I've mentioned the phrase a few times, like unanswerable questions and like not knowing what to say. That one's got to be up
I
there after
I
that
don't know how to
because
respond.
it's like, what on earth are you supposed to say to know
I,
you're not? It's
okay,
like,
I'm not then. All right, fair enough.
yeah,
How tall am I?
yeah, that one's a bit of a weird one.
Whatever I am, it's about 15 inches more than you are. So let's settle on that one.
Another funny one, I think, before we get to a just annoying one, is you must be, they guess a figure, tall, and they're miles off it. So someone will come up to me and like, this one's actually much, some like the last one, for example, that isn't that common. Some of them are. This one's actually way more common than people might think. Is people will come up to me like, God, you're a big lad. You must be what, 6'1", 6'2", and it's like you wouldn't have noticed that I'm considerably tall if I was 6'1", 6'2", would you?
See,
So it's like clearly not.
I always get it the other way around, where people, especially when I used to work in a school, and especially like kids would come up to me like, "Sir, are you 9 feet tall?"
Yeah, yeah. No,
No.
miles off it.
Do you know how
Yeah.
much of a difference there is?
Or one with working in schools that I like is for some reason when you work in a school, kids like to guess how old you are, but they'll link it to how tall you
Yeah.
are. So people will people will be like, they'll try and guess my age, and kids will be like 41, and I'm like, my parents are only 45, and they're like, but you're so tall. How did you get that tall then? And it's like, that doesn't you don't just keep, and then I have to explain to kids. Most people stop growing around 17 to about 21. It's like you don't just keep growing
I
up and up
guess
and up.
I guess
The
for little
older you
kids
get,
like that
yeah,
though, isn't
it's
it?
not
Like
none
the
of the
older you are, the taller you are, as a general
yeah
rule at
none of
primary
the
school.
none of the kids' comments ever bother me because it's like you're not old enough to know better. When it's like a 50-year-old man, that's when it's like, come on,
What
mate, like
what I have
you've been around long enough.
what I have had to make sure I've researched thoroughly, being a taller person, especially working with teenagers, is they'll come up. They've always through the years come up to me and ask me if I'm as tall as
So
certain
yeah,
celebrities. So I've always had to know how tall. It was Peter Crouch
yeah,
at one point. It was the Undertaker at one point. It was Kane, Big Show, and more recently Tyson Fury, because people,
yeah.
teenagers generally tend to know. So I know, I
With
used to know off by heart, like it was sort of ingrained on my brain. Kane's a little bit taller than I am. The Undertaker's a little bit shorter than I am. Tyson Fury's a little bit shorter than that.
Tyson Fury's a split in between us both, isn't
Yeah,
he?
Peter
About
Crouch
six
is about
nine.
the same height as you are.
Me, a little bit smaller, I think.
Yeah,
At the minute in schools, with like football fan sort of lads, it tends to be Courtois because he's like the tallest popular
yeah, he's about
footballer at
six
the
eight,
minute.
isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's about my height as well. So that one makes sense. Um, like I said, an annoying one, and you hate this one, I know that, is you might be tall, but I could still take you in a fight.
I love
like,
it,
like that matters, or has anything to do with fighting, or anything like
and it
that.
always makes me laugh, that one, because for people that know me, will know that I am the least aggressive, the most
Yeah, exactly.
non-confrontational person in the history of the human race. And you always, and it tends to be in a bar or a club or something, someone, generally a lad who's not quite as happy with his lack of height as I am with my excess height, um,
Yeah,
will be trying to impress generally a young lady, being a bit
yeah,
stereotypical here, but generally trying to impress a young lady, and they'll come up, oh, you might be big, but I can still have you, mate.
yeah.
Okay,
And if
great.
you are watching this, I'm expecting these comments to come more from TikTok. If you are either a fan of or like participate in any combat sports like boxing, MMA, whatever it is, please can you leave in the comments so people understand how much it doesn't matter
No,
your size. I was watching a video yesterday that came up about this guy was doing a similar video to what we're doing, but he's a boxer, and he was saying like when he tells people, so people will just in general conversation be like to him, uh, do you do any sports or have any hobbies, whatever it is, and he'll say that they're a boxer, and he'll be like, do you think you could take me in a fight? And he'll be like, yes, obviously, I've trained
of
like
course I could.
25 years
Literally
in
what I've
my
trained to
sport.
do.
I'd batter you like without being cocky or anything. And and he said in it like, no matter how big you are, how many, it's usually big people with muscles that are
Yeah,
like this. If you've got no fighting experience or training, unless you just somehow know how to scrap, it doesn't matter. Like one bit for reference for how why we think this question is a little bit more stupid is I've never been in a fight in my life, and I'm
neither,
21 years old.
I said neither.
Yeah,
Neither have I.
so it's like
45 years of age. If anything,
yeah,
I've actively avoided,
exactly.
used my words, as you used to tell the kids when they were little, when they were toddlers. Use your words.
Yeah,
I tend to use my words a little bit, or sometimes your height is a great. It's a great calming influence, because some people have a bit of loudmouth soup, and they want to act tough, but I don't think they really want to find out.
Yeah,
if the big man can hit hard, just in case he can.
yeah, exactly.
You
Or
know,
people to do with that topic. This one's a little bit more common than that question actually. Is people will come up to you and they'll be like, "If it kicks off, I'm on your team." And it's like if it kicks
yeah,
off, I'll probably like if I'm in a pub and it kicks off, I'd probably just leave and walk to another one.
yeah,
I wouldn't start getting involved just because I'm taller than everybody else. I'd probably just leave and go and have a drink somewhere else so I can carry on enjoying myself. It's like for mainly G, she would know this story. When we were in Cyprus, it wouldn't have been last year, the year before. This guy, and it's funny because he actually ended up getting into a little bit of trouble with this sort of thing. In the place we were at, the bar we were at, he came up to me and said, "If anything kicks off in here tonight, will you back me?" And I was like, "I've got no idea." It's English actually. I have no idea who he is. I went, "Why?" And he went, "Because you're really tall." So, and I was like, "I'm not going to be any use to you at all if you start getting into a fight now." I was like, "I'll just stand there and watch." I was like, I'm not going to suddenly get involved with you
yeah,
just because I'm bigger than everybody else. It doesn't mean you just love going around having scraps with people. It's like,
yeah.
I'm not asked who you are. Like,
Yes, I would love a criminal record on your behalf,
yeah,
complete
it's
stranger.
different if it's like one of your mates or like a
Yeah,
family member or something. But it's like I've got no idea who you are.
yeah.
You're a bit of a knob. You've come over and you're shouting down my ear, and he actually ended up getting into a bit of a something in that bar and getting chucked out, which was quite funny.
No, it does always make me
But
laugh.
G will remember that if that happened. Um, Next one, where are we at? Uh, this is the one we were gonna said we were gonna get onto mentioning G. How tall is your wife slash
Slash, go,
girlfriend?
yeah, that's
Because
always,
being tall must mean that you have a tall girlfriend.
yeah. And you
Not
get
true.
the other sort of slightly more obvious questions that I'm not going to discuss in a podcast with my son.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a story about walking in a shopping centre with my girlfriend, who was G, who I was just mentioning.
Yeah,
That I'm not gonna say the full details of in the story. That made her furious, and because she never realised this was towards the start when you don't quite realise how many comments we actually get, but when it was a rude one, was horrendous. So
yeah.
yeah, I won't get into that. But
No, how? Oh, yeah. What again? I always think the same. What difference does it make? She's
yeah, makes no
she's my
difference.
wife. Obviously, with G, it's your girlfriend.
Yeah,
She's the height she is. I shockingly, it might come as a shock to people. I didn't marry SJ based on her height.
no, it's funny that,
It
isn't it?
was
Yeah,
there was a little bit more to it
yeah, because I
than
don't
than
think
that.
my just over 3 year relationship so far, I don't think at any point during it have I ever thought about the fact that I'm about a foot taller.
Yeah,
At any point have I thought, hmm, G's 5'7", I'm 6 foot
yeah.
seven. That literally doesn't matter
No,
whatsoever.
it's a
It's
funny
like
one, isn't it?
it's just the person. It's like who cares? Um, this one's so most of them so far have been questions. This one's more of a passing comment where you'll get, God, look at the size of him.
Do you know what?
Like we're not real people.
You get that people will walk past and they'll say to it's always adults saying it to kids as well. It's never the other way around.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's
It's
all
weird, isn't it?
adults will go, God, kids, you see the size of him?
Yeah, like we're a tourist attraction.
And
Yeah,
I'll look round sometimes. And go, I'm not deaf,
it's
and
the
then they look at me like I'm being rude, which is
yeah
amazing.
the way people say that one is the exact same way. If anyone's ever been to Disney, do you know that when adults will say to kids, "Oh my God, look, it's Mickey Mouse," as they're walking back, like on like the first day where you go, or you'll be like, "Oh my God, like it's Magical Kingdom," or
Quick,
like
kids,
it's
look at the freak.
yeah, it's like we're an attraction or like some sort of like anomaly. Like,
Yeah,
I know we are an anomaly, but like some sort of like weird thing walking past. Like,
and
we're a
it's like
monster.
it's like we were talking about yesterday. I always when kids ask questions, especially little kids. I got some funny stories about for another time about kids saying funny stuff. But yeah, when kids do it, it's kids are inquisitive. I think sometimes when adults do it, I think really you're not controlling. And we were talking about it yesterday, weren't we? I was like, people will say, "God, look how tall he is," and they'll make really comments that I can't help but hear. And I think, well, you wouldn't do that in other circumstances, would you? If you walk past someone who was bold, you wouldn't walk
Yeah,
past them and go, "Bloody hell, look at the slap head."
yeah, 'cause
How
it's
old were you
rude.
when that
Yeah,
started falling out,
and
mate?
it's horrible.
If
Yeah,
you walk past a fat person, bloody hell, all right, fatty, how big are you?
Yeah,
You must be what, 25, 26 stone?
because it's rude.
I think with adults, you do think sometimes like, come on,
You know better.
be
Yeah.
be a little bit, have it.
These are the comments that I think, like, you've worked in schools. I currently do. Those are the type of comments you like expect to get from kids.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like because they don't know better yet, but it's just hilarious that it's adults like living among the same society as you that actually have the brain capacity to say stuff like that. It's just funny.
it is quite funny.
Uh, funny slash dumb one for this one, and the last one is people pointing out how tall we are, like we haven't noticed. So people are coming to me like,
Brilliant.
not
Yeah.
say like, oh, you must be 6. It's like, God, you're tall.
Do you know how tall you are?
What?
And I'm just sort of,
Yeah, I'm only
uh,
21.
yes. Yes, I
That's a
do
good
know
one.
how tall I am because I get asked approximately 1,000 times a week.
Yeah,
And I've been this tall. I said, I'm 45 years old. I stopped growing when I was about 16. I've been this height for a pretty long time now.
yeah,
It's not as much of a shock to me as
yeah.
it
It's not
was,
surprising.
as it might have been to you. Yes. If you ever see me walking around the streets anywhere, just know, and the same for Josh, I am fully aware of how tall I am. It's not weird to me. I know
I've
it's
got
weird to you.
now we've ended the list. Have you got any to add on that you thought of whilst we're talking? Because I have.
I can't. I mean, there's so many things that people do and saying. Again, I'm always conscious that it sounds like it's a
Of a moan,
bit of
yeah.
a bitch
We
fest. I
find we
always
do
think
find them funny,
it
by the
is
way.
funny a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Sometimes if you've had a bit of a long day, it can be a little bit wearing. But
yeah,
I always think the one thing I always do, I always appreciate that you don't see people that are my height all that often, and
mm.
so it is weird when
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
do see someone as
That's
tall as
why
me. It is weird.
yeah, like I
I get that.
mentioned that I don't know about you, but I don't mind people coming up and asking how tall I am,
Yeah, I say
because
ask.
that's
Yeah,
exactly what I would do as well.
yeah. I'm
So I
quite a
get that.
personable person. I quite
Mm.
like a chat. I'll have a chat with
Yeah,
anybody, and I always think if you're interested in how tall I am, come up and ask. You
yeah. Find out. That's fine. Don't
don't have to
stare
make
and
a comment with your mates and sort of run away giggling. Like
don't do this.
have a
Whilst
yeah,
making perfect eye contact, and you like this, like we can't see
yeah.
you staring into my soul.
Let's
Ask.
how
Don't wonder.
come and have a chat.
Yeah.
It's always all good.
The one I was gonna say that I forgot to say because, like we said, we do find these funny. We had like quite a laugh making this list last night, and one I was gonna add is people ask, why do you have to duck through the doors?
Do you ever get bored of ducking through doors?
Yeah,
That's a great one.
yeah.
Do you ever
There you
get
go.
bored of
Yeah,
ducking through doors?
I can't believe we didn't mention this one making
Yeah,
the list, but that's got to be on there
and
because you don't have a choice.
I always think, um, I always say to people, it really hurts if I don't,
Yeah,
and I always think, do you know what? If you were walking up to a door and it was closed, I tell you what, instead of opening the handle and pushing it forwards like that to get through, I'm just going to walk straight into it and see what happens. Just do you ever get bored? Yes,
yeah,
I get really, really bored of ducking through doors, but it really, really hurts if I don't.
yeah.
So
I'd rather duck through every single door than keep walloping your head off stuff. So
yeah,
that's for definite
I've got a good story about ducking through doors as well, but I'll save that
for a different time.
for another time. I think
Yeah,
the next episode of this, we're going to
yeah,
have a little look at some of the funny stories, some of the things, not comments necessarily that people have made, but some of the funny stories, some of the funny
yeah,
situations
definitely.
we found
Bef-
ourselves in.
Before we end it, I've got a quick question for you that we didn't prepare for. So it might be a boring one, or we might not have one, but I do, which is a bit of a boring one. I think we should do this segment to end every single video. Is do you have any height related, not tall related, but height related facts?
Do I have any height related
Yeah, so I'll
facts?
give my one first example because I thought of this about halfway through the list. I've had time to think.
Give me an example.
My example, height related fact, is every single male is taller than their mother.
Apparently, that's always the case. Yeah,
Yeah,
you should always.
apparently, unless you've got, it takes like a condition or a growing something
Yeah, you'll
to
always be taller.
definitely. So if your mum is 5'10", you're guaranteed to be 5'10" or higher. Is my height fact.
And I think, isn't it also true as well that my height fact, but somebody out there can fact check me and call BS on this one if you want, because I'm not 100% sure. But I'm sure you're 6 heads tall. So if you were to
Oh,
take
yeah.
your
That's a
head
great
and
one if
pile it
that's
up
true.
I'm sure
Do
you
you want me
should
to
be.
fact check it?
Yeah, you can
Should I
fact check it now. So I'm sure that's the
5
case. If
heads
it's not,
tall.
we can edit it out and I'll think of another one.
That's brilliant. Are humans averagely?
I'm sure you know, like they say, your shoe size is like the
Humans.
distance from your elbow to your
Yeah.
forearm to
Are
your wrist and
humans
stuff like
on
that.
average 5 head length tall? This is battered mine if it's true.
While Josh is googling, I promised my daughter Ayana that I wouldn't do this, but
Oh.
don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button, you guys. Sorry, Ayana.
So, it reckons, you've been fact checked, it reckons humans are not on average 5 head lengths tall. That's a common misconception, apparently. Fake news. The average adult human body is typically about 7 to 8 head lengths tall, which I think now we've done this, we'll cut this clip into the video where we do the height check, which I think we
Yeah,
should add into the next video. We'll do that. So,
I
we'll,
said 6, so I wasn't too far away.
yeah,
I was only
exactly.
one off.
We're going to find out how many head lengths tall of our heads each of us
To
are.
be fair, I've got an absolutely gigantic head, so I might only be
Yeah.
6 of my head lengths
Three and a
tall.
half head lengths tall.
Right, we'll end
Yeah.
this bit. If I would say as well in the comments, if you're a tall person and we haven't mentioned something that
Yeah.
you get asked on a regular basis, drop it in the comments because some of them are funny. If you're not a tall person and you're watching this just because you're a good person, let us know if you've ever been around or seen an extremely tall person. What did you say to them, or did you
Yeah.
manage to keep it
Tell
all
us
to
how tall they
yourself?
are if you found out. Definitely. And tall people, if you've got any stories that we'll do the next episode of funny stories. I think you'll have way more than I have. But if you've got any funny stories on being really tall or about things people have said to you or like just funny good moments, let us know because they do bring a good laugh. So definitely let us know.
Excellent. Thanks for watching episode 1 of the Ducking Through Doorways podcast. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on episode 2.